Secondly, you're Li Rubing's boyfriend, so no one would dare to do that to you? Wu Chen asked. So, you want some evidence from me? Su Qinjing was confused. Evidence? Wu Chen suddenly hugged Su Qinjing from behind. Su Qinjing shouted, "What are you doing?" Wu Chen said righteously, "I'm teaching you how to play golf, don't think too much. Besides, I've already given you a reasonable explanation. Why are you still not willing to accept it?" Su Qinjing thought to herself, he's Li Rubing's boyfriend. If she found out that her boyfriend was hugging someone else with her personality, she would definitely not believe that he was just teaching her how to play golf. This guy was doomed. It seemed that the person who should be anxious now was not me but him. If I did not resist, it would be enough to kill him. Wu Chen continued to teach her how to play golf. The bodyguards outside did not understand. What's wrong with the young mistress? Is she resisting or cooperating? We can't tell. Su Qinjing looked at Wu Chen. Aren't you afraid that I'll call Li Rubing and complain to her now? Wu Chen replied, I'm afraid, but you're also afraid that I'll tell that story to outsiders. Now we're even. Su Qinjing said, okay, you're just trying to add trouble for me. Suddenly, Wu Chen spanked Su Qinjing's butt. What are you waiting for? Play golf? I wonder how you learned to play golf before. Su Qinjing blushed. The bodyguards outside couldn't wait any longer. What should we do? Inform the ma'am. A bodyguard quickly made a phone call. Ma'am, the young mistress. Wu Chen said calmly, I'll teach you one more time. Bring your feet together a little. Your shoulders should be level. That's right. Wu Chen continued to spank Su Qinjing's butt. Damn, your hips are so wide. Su Qinjing was very angry. Then, she hit a shot and turned back to ask, is this how you play golf? Wu Chen said, yes, that's it. I have nothing else to teach you. Su Qinjing wondered, why? Wu Chen replied, because your mother has sent someone to arrest me. At the same time, Mrs. Su was listening to the bodyguard's report. Ma'am, the man is hugging the young mistress, and the young mistress is also talking and laughing with him. Yes, he even spanked the young mistress's butt, but it also looks like he's teaching the young mistress how to play golf. Yes, that's it. The young mistress came to wait for him today. Mrs. Su was furious. Wait there. I'll be right over. Don't let him escape. The bodyguards acknowledged the order. Yes, ma'am. Su Qinjing asked worriedly, what do I do if my mother comes? Wu Chen replied, now let's run. We'll talk about it later. Do you want to run away with me? Su Qinjing hesitated. Run away with you? Wu Chen asked again, or do you want to live in this invisible cage for the rest of your life? Su Qinjing hesitated. Wu Chen grabbed Su Qinjing's hand. What are you hesitating for? Let's go. The bodyguards quickly discovered their escape and gave chase. Wu Chen quickly got into his car and sped away, leaving the bodyguards behind. The bodyguards yelling, stop, stop, inform the madam immediately. One of the bodyguards quickly called Mrs. Su. Madam, the young lady has run away with that man. Mrs. Su was furious. What did you say? On the road, Wu Chen's car sped like lightning. Wu Chen asked Su Qinjing, are you scared? Su Qinjing smiled and replied, no. Just then, Su Qinjing's phone rang. Su Qinjing said, it was my mother. Wu Chen gave her a look that said, you can try being yourself for one day. Su Qinjing took a deep breath and said, Mom. Mrs. Su asked, where are you? Who are you with? Su Qinjing replied calmly, a friend. Mrs. Su roared with anger. A friend? How long have you known him? Do you know what your status is? Is he worthy of you? I've raised you for all these years, and now you're running away with a man hand in hand. I'm so disappointed in you. Listen to me, Su Qinjing, you, go home right now. Wu Chen rolled down the car window, trying to ease the pressure on Su Qinjing. Su Qinjing thanked him silently. Thank you, Wu Chen. Today I want to be myself. Su Qinjing spoke loudly. Mom, I'm a person too. I'm not a doll that you can control. Mrs. Su was stunned speechless. What are you talking about? Wu Chen and Su Qinjing continued to drive. Wu Chen spoke first. I'm guessing that your mother will mobilize all of the Su family's forces to find us. Su Qinjing disagreed. She's too concerned about losing face to make a big deal out of this. Wu Chen teased her. Aren't you afraid that I'll sell you off? You really dare to follow me? Su Qinjing replied with a sad expression. No one has ever dared to approach me before. I've always lived in that glamorous shadow. Ever since I was young, everyone told me that I was different from others, and it was still the same after I graduated. My mother wants me to live like her, to be an elite forever. She doesn't let me eat more than one bowl of rice because I'm not allowed to be fat, just so that I can maintain the most beautiful image in her eyes. I'm so tired of it. Running away with you might be my only chance. Besides, I feel very comfortable being with you. Wu Chen replied, I believe you made the right choice. It's better to live as yourself. Su Qinjing asked in a low voice, You're Li Rubing's boyfriend, aren't you? You're afraid she'd find out about this, aren't you? Wu Chen was surprised when she unbuckled her seatbelt. Yes, Su Qinjing reached over and pulled Wu Chen towards her, kissing him. Wu Chen was startled and quickly slammed on the brakes. What are you doing? We're in the middle of driving, just kiss me. Why are you biting me? Su Qinjing stuttered. Wu Chen said loudly, Su Qinjing, back to your seat. This is an order. Su Qinjing reluctantly returned to her seat. Yes. Wu Chen sighed inwardly. Su Qinjing, your stubbornness hasn't changed at all. He remembered the time, during his 1,000-year reincarnation, when he had successfully pursued the #1 heiress in the Eastern Sea. In order to satisfy his strong curiosity about how she had become such a high-quality model, he had logged into a forum on the laptop in front of her. There was an article on it titled, Why Won't My Mother Let Me Have Fun? Why do I have to shoulder the family's mission? Why am I only allowed to do what my mother tells me to do, and not what I want to do? I'm so tired, every day is just study, study, study. I'm a human learning machine. I'm just an ordinary girl. How can I have a sweet love? How can I feel happy when I'm living? There were quite a few comments below. Girl, let me teach you how to love. Little sister, you're so charming. Do you want to go on a date? Is the girl who posted this really trying to act naive? Is the person who posted this really a girl? I thought it was a big man. I'm also very tired of this life. Why don't we get together and vent? After reading the article, he realized that for so many years she had maintained a perfect image, radiating brilliance, but behind it was a heavy chain that made it difficult for her to even breathe. There was also a comment in the post, Young lady, I know what's bothering you. It's the desire to be controlled by others, to arouse the beast within me. That comment not only spoke of her repressed and constrained life, but also revealed one thing, Su Qinjing is a person within blood. Wu Chen just hadn't expected that he would take advantage of that point in her now. Wu Chen continued to give orders. Put your seatbelt back on. Su Qinjing asked curiously, Where are we going? Wu Chen asked her back, Where do you want to go? Su Qinjing replied, Wherever you say. Wu Chen replied, Then come to my place. Su Qinjing readily agreed. Okay. For hours later, the sound of a cell phone ringing incessantly filled the air. Wu Chen woke up and answered the phone. Have they found you yet? Li Rutai stuttered. You know what? Zhuang Yuan called me and said that Mrs. Su was investigating his car. He couldn't help it, so he pushed it over to me. Then she called me. What's going on over there? Wu Chen replied. It's okay. All right, you stay put for now. I can handle it myself. Just then, Li Rubing called. Rutai just called me. What have you done again? Have you offended Su family? Wu Chen asked back. Do you really want to know? Li Rubing replied impatiently. If you have something to say, then say it. Wu Chen said, Wait a minute. He then handed the phone to Su Qinjing. Say something. Su Qinjing asked, what should I say? Wu Chen replied casually. Say whatever you want. Don't worry about her knowing who you are. Su Qinjing spoke up. Hey, who is this? Wu Chen asked Su Qinjing. You know who's on the other end of the line, don't you? Li Rubing replied on the other end, Hubby. Su Qinjing continued to ask, Hello, may I ask who you are? The other end replied coldly, Li Rubing. Su Qinjing replied, So it's Miss Li. Li Rubing asked, Who are you? This time, Su Qinjing also replied with 3 words. Su Qinjing, Li Rubing questioned, What are you doing with Wu Chen? Su Qinjing hesitated slightly and replied, We're just friends. We're a little busy right now. Li Rubing thought to herself, Just now they were calling each other husband and wife, but now they're just friends. Lee